It's very dreary outside today. I've got the wood stove going and it's nice and toasty in here, and I thought I would use my coals to bake some potatoes for dinner. I bake inside my just regular wood stove. This is not a cook stove. This is just a regular wood stove that most people use for heat, but I do use it to bake inside, and I do that with a camp style Dutch oven. A camp style Dutch oven, for those who don't know, is the one that has the feet. It also has this little rim on the lid. And normally you would use this Dutch oven outside on a campfire, hence the camp style Dutch oven. Your coals, few coals go underneath, and then most of the coals, if you're cooking with this outside, most of the coals go on top. So, but today I am using this inside my wood stove, which is very easy, so much easier than using it outside, because I don't have to put coals on top. All of the heat is contained inside the stove, so none of the coals need to go on top. So you can totally do this too. If you have your own wood stove, you can totally do this. It's very, very simple. It just takes a little practice, maybe a little bit of getting to know your own stove. It's probably gonna be a little different than mine, but you can do this. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna lift the lid and show, these are completely raw potatoes right now. And I've nested them inside some parchment paper. If you want, you could also use aluminum foil, but I like to line the bottom of my pan, and because my pan isn't super clean, I didn't want to spend the time scrubbing it, so I just put some parchment paper in the bottom. This fire right now is perfect because I've got coals and no flames, like a good amount of coals. So what I'm going to take and do is shove my coals to the back. I really don't want coals next to my pot. The coals are providing the heat, but they're staying away from my pot. Okay. All right, so that's really perfect right there. You can see I've shoved them to the back. I've made a nice little spot in front for my Dutch oven. Now I'm gonna set it inside. And I'm gonna close the door. If you have some kind of a damper on your wood stove, you may need to play with it, but usually I will keep mine open because I want my coals to stay really hot. If you ever feel like your fire is getting much too hot or your coals are getting much too hot, you can close your damper. But I'm experienced, I know that these coals are gonna be okay for this process, and so I'm gonna keep my damper open so that they stay super hot. What I need to really suggest is that if this is your first time, you keep a watch on it, and halfway through my time, I will pull them out. I'll pull my Dutch oven out and I will check them. But always, 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 no matter what, I'm gonna turn my Dutch oven because you can see that I did not have coals in front. And so the majority of the heat is around in back of it. So that food that's next to those coals is going to get the heat faster. So it's gonna cook faster in the back. So I always make sure I turn it halfway through. It's been about half an hour, so I'm gonna look in and see how the potatoes are doing. I'll take it out and show you. You can see that this side was next to the coals, and you can see how the skin is a lot more blistered on this side. And this side isn't as done. So I'm going to put this back in. So I'm going to close the door. I'm going to leave it in there. My coals are dying down. So really, I probably could leave it in there until dinner time and they would stay hot. But we'll take it out in about half an hour. We'll give it another half an hour. But as the coals die down, the temperature is going down too. If you're actually baking something that you were worried wasn't gonna get done, at this point you would probably have to stoke your coals and get a fire going some more and then put your Dutch oven back inside. It's actually been well over an hour, maybe about an hour and a half, and my coals are getting pretty low. and it's getting cold in here. So I'm gonna pull the potatoes out. They should be done, really done by now. Oh, actually they look really good. Perfect. So I'm gonna put the lid back on and keep them warm inside the Dutch oven until dinner time. And I've got enough coals to get my fire going so that we can warm up in here. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a wood stove and if you've never tried cooking inside it, why not give it a try? Potatoes are so forgiving, so they're really one of the best things that you can try because, I mean, you can't go wrong. And if they don't get done, you can always pop them inside your oven and finish cooking. And if they get burned on the side, no big deal, cut that part off. Or if you're like Zach, you really like burnt edges of things. So anyway, I hope you give it a try. We'll see you next time on the homestead.